Okay, so this will be my camo guide for Call of Duty Black Ops 1. I'm not gonna go over the basics, so I'll expect you to basically have at least read through the file names or have seen the tutorials channel on SSC if you're coming from there. Yeah, just some quick tips still. Keep the updated weapon file name text file from Shanks in mind. It can be really useful. And also the Black Ops 1 files as DDS zip is pretty, or can come pretty in handy when you're making camos. But yeah, you should know what the C spec and env file are. I will give you an explanation of what or how I do the end file. But I think just gonna start here. And I'm going to start with this one. Just some pre-picked textures. If you want to know like where to find them, the easiest answer is yeah, just go on Pinterest and type in wallpaper or whatever, RGB wallpaper or something like that, and just click on anything and just go from there. There's like just so many good things that you can use as camos. You can obviously also like use your own or make your own, but then you would have to use like render and whatever, which I might go over later, but I won't promise it. So first off, I'm just gonna copy this image and yeah, paste it. This is gonna be my C file now, and I want to have it as 1024. I'm also just gonna paste it on the others. Since we're losing some pixels here, gonna use some blur to decrease that, cause it kind of annoys me to see stuff like that. Just one more moment. Okay, perfect. So now I can copy this again and just close the image here. So yeah, the C file I'm just gonna leave as is. Not gonna change anything about that. And for the spec file, you probably know that you can use transparency to make the spec file more reflective, but that comes with the drawback of having the same alpha channel. Well, I'm gonna use a plugin here for transparency just to make it easier. You can see the transparency is the same everywhere, so the reflectiveness is the same everywhere. But you might want to have like more reflectiveness on like the lighter parts of the gun. And just for that, we have also a nice plugin. All plugins and so on will be linked in the description. Just so you know, I'm gonna use the switch gray to alpha plugin, and what it does is, yeah, it takes the gray value of that pixel and swaps it to an alpha channel. And you can make it so that it either removes the white part, so white is completely transparent, or black is completely transparent, but for my purpose I want white to be completely transparent. So as you can see now, the black part here is completely opaque, and here with high transparency, or moderate transparency at least. But we lose all the color, but that's okay. So just copy this file here now, go back once, so we have our normal file again, and we use another plugin that's called Paste Alpha. It has a, in my opinion, wrong selection at first, so you have to go to replace current alpha with alpha channel from clipboard. And you can't really see it at first, but if you zoom in, you can now see that the alpha channel is now that of the switch gray to alpha thing that we created. So now you have a very fine alpha channel, but still we have a very high opacity here, and I'm just gonna adjust that by lowering the alpha by -20 using the plugin. because that way we have an opacity of 200, which in my opinion is like the maximum opacity you should have for a spec file, so you can still have like nice reflective, like you can still see like the light bounce of it even if it's completely a dark spot. So not completely done with the spec file yet, because what I like to do is I like to increase the saturation just a bit on it, but yeah, that's basically it already. So I can save that here. Now the only thing left is the env file, and I basically do the same thing here all the time. Decrease the saturation completely, so make it only black and white. Because if you check out the files from Black Ops 1, then you can see that most of them, or most of the env files are just black and white. If that's how the game likes to process the file, then just make it that way. And then increase the brightness a bit if you have like black spots on the weapon. Sorry about that. You want this value to be like at least like 12 or 13. Okay, that's good enough. Because otherwise your camo will look kind of weird. Like it will look like as if the black spot of the weapon completely swallows all the light. But yeah, that's basically already it. So now I'm just gonna use the good old IWI fast converter. And just drop all that in. Oh, it's not yet here. Just drop all the files in here. And start Black Ops, which is on my second monitor. I'm not starting Stratester because it has led to OBS crashing at the half-hour mark. That at least twice already. And that's kind of too much for me. I don't want to lose a third recording in a row. Okay, first things first. Yes, give me FOV. I haven't used the Stratester patch in a while. Okay. I think that turned out quite fine. I mean, the only thing that I don't like about this camo right now is that you can see that it's kind of pixelated. But that's just because of the way that first of all, because the pack punch camo on the T-gun is very spread out. Because on the ray gun it looks just fine. But also because there were not really that many pixels on it in the first place. Since I didn't start BO mods, I don't have any commands right now, so I can't use no clip or teleport or whatever. So I might go to another map, probably Moon. But yeah, that looks fine in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, that would be first one. Could maybe kind of make out how there's like different reflectiveness on it, and the dark or the black part of the weapon is not like completely It still like has kind of reflectiveness, as you can see here. Turns kind of grayish, or it basically turns in the color that you put the spec file, the env file as. Maybe a bit darker though. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump into the next one. You can pretty much just repeat what I did. Just gonna copy that. The fuck you mean it doesn't? Okay. Well then we do it this way. Yeah, it's gonna be the same issue here because I had to enlarge the pictures a bit. Can probably fight it by making the file size smaller, but I mean for the proof of concept it's gonna be alright. Yeah, I'm not gonna adjust the picture here. So just gonna paste this, delete that. Okay, spec file, we'll see it again. Switch gray to alpha, remove the white part, copy that, go back, then the object and paste alpha. You don't have to change it now because it got saved. I think here you can like clearly make out that it's at least more of, yeah, okay, it's not that fine actually. But there's another trick for that. If you feel like the spec file is not fine enough, you can go to combined adjustments. And yeah, just make it a bit brighter. Maybe make the contrast a bit higher. If you now do that one again, copy again, go back here and paste alpha. I think it varies a bit more now. But in my opinion that's still like not enough. So, and the dark parts are still like way too dark, so I'm just gonna adjust the transparency manually again. So yeah, now we have like 60 something, 80 in the bright spots and 180 the dark spots. Should be about right. And then combined adjustments for this env file, I mean, yet again, desaturate it. And yeah, then make it brighter until like the darkest spot on the entire thing should be like at least 13, not lower. Okay, I saw 12 there. Just gonna do that. Okay, now it should be fine. And save that again. As you can see, I'm basically just doing the same thing for Pack-a-Punch camos. Or like for this style of Pack-a-Punch camo. It comes from like a wallpaper or whatever. So I'm thinking Shang or Moon is probably the best to showcase the Pack-a-Punch camo because of the weapons you're given. Maybe actually also Crafted that could be pretty good, depending on what they give you. Okay. I think this one actually turned out really nice. Checking out the spec file here. also just gonna hop on moon quickly. Oh, I forgot about that. But oh yeah, the settings are pretty good to show that. Does look nice in the settings, damn. Especially when you like turn, you can see that it gets brighter and darker. And that's like the effect that I'm personally looking for in Pack-a-Punch camos. Like this part of the gun, I mean. I don't think there's a way to give me the wave gun in a way that it shows the Pack-a-Punch camos, so I'm just gonna hop on Shangri-La as well, just for good measure. Which is probably gonna be the map that I will show the Pack-a-Punch camo afterwards. Yep. But yet again, you can see that there's some issue with like the camo being pixelated in some places, but that's just because of the base weapon file, the base image that I used. Sadly, it doesn't give you claymores right away, but I'm gonna talk about claymores just after. So let's just get to the last Pack-a-Punch camo now, which I've decided for like this rolly image. Okay, but I'm actually not sure I like it that way. So maybe I'm gonna color shift this a bit. Or you can also in Paint.net you can also use some stuff like target an individual color channel here and decrease its value. For example, can take the green color channel and delete that. And this is also going to be important for the end file that's coming up next. I think I'm doing end file just before Claymore. Yeah, that can be nicer. Also like some blue. Oh, just like that. Okay. Because I know how it would turn out otherwise, I am gonna manipulate the spec file before using the switch gray to alpha, because the colors here are pretty dark. So what I want to do is increase the contrast and the brightness like a lot. So that way we should get a better alpha channel from this one. So let's see it. And transparency also -20 again. No, I might just adjust the saturation a bit more of the normal one, but that should actually be fine already. And here, yeah, decrease saturation, increase brightness by I think like about 35 or 40. Then check for your dark spots, they're all at least 13, so don't want to waste too much time there. And just get them in there again. Yeah, that's what I mean. Have some very individual reflectivity on gun. Those should be, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to show it. You can see that only the swirls of the gun are actually reflectiveness or have reflectiveness. Okay, but that should already be it for like normal Pack-a-Punch, and now I want to get to the N file. And for that, I'm first gonna look at the M16 one, but actually I'm gonna open this one twice, because that is actually something important I just figured out the other day. Actually today. As you can see, the spec file consists of transparency and spec file. The N file consists of transparency and shades of gray. And if you increase the opacity, you can see that it's basically kind of like a shadow map, which is exactly what the N map, what the N file is. But there's a reverse option for something that I did earlier, and there's a switch gray to alpha is also an inverse, like switch alpha to gray. And if you do that, you get something similar, but if I zoom out, let me try to get like a right angle here. You might see something is odd, like if you look here, it's very bright, but like, it looks completely different here. And so the like increasing the transparency and swapping the transparency to what's it called, to a gray channel, gives you two completely different N maps, or like different files. And the way that I found to explain it is basically, like, the easiest part is basically look at this circle. You can see that it has like a white part left, or like a reflection on the left, a shadow on the right, and then here a reflection on the left and shadow on the right. But if we look at it, yeah, on this part, that basically doesn't exist on the left and right side. It's basically like a turned shadow map. So we have like reflection down, then what's it called, a shadow on up, reflection downward, and shadow upward. So it's basically the different angles at which the light could hit the weapon, if it's coming like from this side, or if it's coming from from downward, or if it's coming from the left. And that's basically hidden, quote unquote hidden, in either the alpha channel of the gun or in the gray channel of the gun. So both together give you like the angle at which this exact pixel is placed on the gun. Now the question is, how can we replicate something like that? Well, for that, yep, okay. I'm going to copy this one and paste it here. And first step is we're gonna delete the color again, but don't do anything else, just the color. And we're gonna use the plugin under stylization or whatever it's called in English, and normal map plus. And you don't have to change any of these values for it. And it gives you a so-called normal map. It basically tries to imitate or like replicate where you have height difference in the color map. Usually you have to do it with a height map, but a height map doesn't exist in Black Ops 1, so we make a makeshift height map by just using a colorless color map. And now I'm gonna go back to the curve thing I was talking about earlier. And we're gonna look at all of these curves individually. First off, we're gonna look at the blue curve by completely erasing the red and the blue curve. And you can see there's barely any difference. And the blue channel is just really what's it called? A supporting channel of the end file. And as far as I know, or I think HGM Rick said in his video, the blue channel is not utilized in Black Ops 1. So yeah, we don't have to worry about this one. We can actually just delete it, which I'll do later on. Now we're going to look at the red channel. And if I look at this one, you can see, okay, the light seems to be coming from the right. Yeah, which you let me check if I can see. Yeah, this is where you can see pretty well. You have the brightest spots here on the right and the darkest spots on the left. So this one should be more or less our, I'll have to think. It's not our alpha channel, it's gonna be our gray channel. Yeah, okay. So the red thing here, this is gonna be our gray channel, or our color channel for the end map. And what we can do now is, we decrease the saturation. And now I have to think once again. Because this is like an imprint. Oh, hold up. Okay, this is an imprint, so that means if we have light on the left and right on the right we have shadow, that means it's an imprint. And if it's reversed, then it's like coming out of the gun. It's important to like know how it differentiates. For example, here, you have shadow on the left and light on the right, so that means it's like outside of, or it's like it's coming out of the gun. So now I have to think, what do I want to do? Do I want this to be like 3-dimensional, or do I want this to be like imprinted? But I think I want this to be outside of the gun, so I can just leave it as is. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it black and white, or like desaturated. And now we go back here again to our original normal map. We go back to curves, and this time we delete everything but the green one. And there you can see it's basically the exact opposite. Yeah, now the light is coming from downward. So this one should be our alpha channel. So what we do now is we also desaturate it. And then we use our good old switch gray to alpha. We copy it. And then we paste it as our alpha channel here. So now this one is a combination of basically the red and the blue channel from the normal map. The gray channel is our red color value and the alpha channel is basically our green color value. And this is also how the game reads it. Or the game just sees the color value and from that on calculates like the angle at which a shadow would hit and makes the spot brighter or darker depending on which angle you're looking. And yeah, that's pretty much it already. So I'd place it here because this was actually my M16. So I'm now gonna put this on multiple weapons to showcase. And it will be the exact same for the other Pack Punch camos, but I think it should be enough if I show it for one. Currently thinking which is probably the best map to do it. 5 is gonna suck because of having to activate Pack Punch. But I can have all 3 weapons out. Yeah, okay. 5 it is. So just so you keep in mind, I made the end map now for the crossbow, the M16 and the stakeout. Can you set... Just gonna make an instick around. I'm already gonna tell you, when the Pack Punch camo is on, it's gonna be very hard to see the actual roughness of the map, of the gun, because yeah, you made the end map from from the color map. So it's basically, it's gonna be so fitting that you won't be able to actually see it. Like, we couldn't say that this was rough, but if I'm gonna buy the M16 now, and I didn't mess up, you can definitely see some roughness on it. But perfect, actually. Can also kind of make it out on the stakeout. I guess I kind of made the what's it called? I should have made it more, or I should have like increased the end map, maybe increase the contrast or something. Oh yeah, creating end maps is really not necessary for normal camos. It's only like if you want to go the extra mile. But yeah, I think I think maybe the package is kind of too dark to make out the actual channels, angles. Also, zombies are gonna be annoying now. But yeah, that's basically how you do N files. You can also use the N file to do something different. You can use it to like imitate imprints or whatever. Basically, okay, I might have to look for that one again. Just give me a second. Camo maker, all textures. Okay, there it is. Good old Afterlife N file. I'm quite actually not sure who originally made that. Okay, the transparency is the same everywhere. Okay, was almost the same. You can also use the switch greater alpha thing here. Yeah, swap alpha to gray, I mean. And then you see basically what this map looks like. It's like the afterlife symbols from Mob of the Dead. If you put this as the end map, then you have an effect that works really nice on metallic camos. It's basically like it has a different reflectiveness because of the like color or the darkness difference. So if you hold like a metallic camo in the light, for example, and everything is very is going to be very reflective, except the parts that are like very bright here, because it makes the game think that these are actually in the shadow when the others are in the light, and vice versa. So when you're in the shadow, then these parts are going to look extremely like bright, and so you have like kind of an extra reflectiveness or like a highlight on those parts. That's like the other way that you can make use of the N file. You can use the swap greater alpha thing for more than just normal pack punch camos. You can also use it to make claymores. So just gonna make this claymore just a bit bigger because I like having everything at 1024. Actually just okay. There's a special part about claymores. Most of the time you don't actually want an end file there, because if you make this end file like flat, then you have the same alpha and the same gray channel everywhere. So that way the game just thinks the claymore is going to be completely flat, and that looks very nice when you just try to put images on it. You can still make some end files for it, but the best way to do this to just make the end file flat image. So now I'm gonna resize this one because it makes it easier to make the claymore. Keep the ratio. I'm gonna make the wideness to 1024. That way I just have to paste it in here, and it's the same wideness, but it's kind of too high for the claymore, so I have to adjust that a bit. I'm gonna cut off the hair just about there, and now I have to just cut it underneath here. Yeah, the top part is the part that you are seeing when you're holding it, and the part, like the smaller part, this one is basically that's facing away from you, so technically you don't have to change it because you're basically never seeing it. Actually I think gonna skip doing that because it would just be okay, copy this image and then place it underneath there. But it's not worth the effort if you're not even seeing it, in my opinion now. So I'm just gonna turn the rest of the claymore white. And that is gonna be my color map. Just gonna save that. And I'm just gonna paste it in here because it makes it easier. I've already worked with this image before, so I know that there's gonna be an issue here. Sometimes, especially with anime characters, I've discovered that if you're using the switch gray to alpha, they're gonna look like the skin is gonna be very transparent, so it's gonna be very, very reflective. The way to counteract that is by either like playing around with brightness and contrast, kind of like that. But you shouldn't put the contrast too high, in my opinion. And then you can make the N, or not the N file, the alpha channel from this one. Then we're just gonna go back to our original image and paste the alpha channel once again. And I'm actually gonna increase the opacity by like a slight bit, because I just want the hair to stand out in this case. And also one thing that I really like doing is once you're done with this step, what you can do is sometimes when they're like really reflective parts on like a character or whatever, is that you can highlight them with the magic wand tool or whatever it's called. And you can make them like more transparent, for example. Just to give it like a highlight or something. And one part where I especially like to do that is in the eye. So I'm gonna go in here and use the magic wand to like mark all the pixels that look alike. I think that's almost all of them. Yeah, okay, that should be it. And what I then do is I make it like really transparent, because that way you will have like more of a glow or light effect there. Okay, so also gonna save that one. And lastly, and that's just a thing that I like to do because it's kind of neat, is make a custom HUD thing for the claymore. For that, we're just gonna use the magic wand to take like one pixel that's transparent and increase the tolerance until all the shadows are basically marked, but the claymore itself is not marked. Kind of like that. And then you just delete that. And so you now only have the claymore, not the shadow in the background. And what we do now is, okay, just gonna copy everything here. Now copy this image. And I'm gonna make this one like 4 times bigger. Now we can align the, hold up. Actually, I'm just gonna do this first. I forgot one small step. But you can do them in any order. So I'm just gonna size it so that it fits the claymore. And then I copied it. Now I'm just gonna get rid of it for 1 second. And I'm gonna color the claymore completely white because I chose the claymore to be white itself. And now I'm pasting the image again. The last part that you have to do for it to not look odd on the HUD is take like an eraser, make it so that it's like completely erasing, and cut off the edges. It doesn't have to be fine at all. Like maybe just a bit fine, but you don't have to stress about this part because it's gonna be so small in the HUD that you basically won't really see it if you like mess up a bit, or just so it has like the form of the claymore. And yeah, then you can already save. Gonna put those in there. I closed my W folder accidentally. Okay, on which map am I easily gonna get the claymore? Actually, I think Ascension is probably gonna be the best. Yeah, Ascension. And then I'm just gonna, I don't know, activate the trap, call a lander so that I can showcase the claymore without being bothered by the zombies. That should be fine. Alright. There you can see that the hair is like really transparent, or the white part of it, and the rest not so much. And in the HUD you can also see that the claymore is displayed there. It's like a very small thing, but I don't know, it's like a nice detail that is not that hard to implement. Just in case someone has not seen any of my gameplay, I'm just gonna put back in my usual IW folders. I did have like different screens at first, but I only left the one for Ascension in. I'm actually not sure what kind of claymore I have in there, so I'm probably not gonna show that. Did my game crash? Of course it did. I feel like that happens a lot when you just swapped a lot of camos. It just crashes the games like when you're starting up the map. I don't think I've ever crashed when being loaded into a map, except of course, I don't know, like a G spawn when you got hit while jumping through a trap. I feel like we've all been here. We all know what's about to happen. Okay, maybe I have to restart my game. No, don't. Okay, let's try that again. Because the video is approaching 50 minutes right now. and I don't want to drag it out unnecessarily. I think the end map took more time than expected. Yeah, I pretty much make all the camos myself. Don't comment on my perks, I know they are not the best, but I'm too lazy to redo them right now. Okay, I can actually show I'm 16. Oh yeah, this would be like the M16 here with that Pack-a-Punch camo. I've also made it so that the attachment of the electric grenade launcher attachment has a part of the Pack-a-Punch camo on it. This is no mean to flex, this is just like a means of showing what you can do with just paint.net. Like literally, like everything you can see right now is basically self-made with paint. Like some of the walls had like cracks on there earlier that you could just have to make transparent and stuff like that. Pipes are just like remade. The Pack-a-Punch camo is also made like almost using a renderer and basically the techniques that I displayed today. So I think there's not much more to add. And I hope you could learn a thing or two from this video, and yeah, check out the description for any of the plugins or downloads that I mentioned in the video. Have fun.